Have you ever been at a point in business where you think that you're crystal clear on your positioning, your marketing, what you stand for, what your messaging is, yet every time you go to update your website, you get stuck. Every time you go to write content, you get stuck. Every time you start building out an offer, you get stuck because you know you're this close to being clear, and it's so close, you practically feel like it's clear, but it's still far enough away that you're still getting stuck and you need clarity. Well, today I have a very special episode for you. My very good friend, and in a lot of ways, my partner in crime, Nicolette Moore, is going to be with us. And I want you to know a little something about Nicolette. When I was newer and emerging and launching my business for the first time, and I was close to being clear, but not quite all the way clear. In one 15-minute conversation, she unlocked the clarity I needed about what my zone of genius was that was obvious to everyone around me, but it was a blind spot to me. She then supported me in launching my very first signature program into the market and was an amazing accountability coach to keep me on track as I was doing that. And then in the following year of business, she helped me to scale my business and actually double the amount of revenue I had brought in the year before because of her amazing clarity, mindset, and leadership coaching that she brings to the table. So if you have not met Nicolette Moore yet, you need to. And so let's dive in with her today. If clarity, leadership development, or mindset is what you need help with, Nicolette is your girl. Let's jump in. Welcome to the Impactful Entrepreneur Show with Adrienne Hill, a place for online business industry expertise and thought leadership, where you can build the skills, structure, and systems you need to thrive in business and have a lasting impact in your industry. Let's do this. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another training session. I am so excited about our guest today. I'm here with the lovely Nicolette Moore. She's a wife, mother, and author of the Q Journal and creator of the Q Salon. She has a passion for helping ambitious women clarify the fog that they have surrounding their business. The Q Journal is designed to get you out of your head and into your heart with a clear, actionable plan. She also leads the women in the Q Salon, the perfect complement to the Q Journal. She supports you as you take action every day with leadership coaching and mastery level accountability. It's amazing. And outside of running her own business, she loves spending time with her family, walking her dog, and drinking a little beer. So I am so excited to have Nicolette here with us. She is the master of getting clarity in your vision, your purpose, your business, and your legacy, so that you're not just building something that makes some money, you're building something that creates a legacy for your family. So welcome, Nicolette. I'm so excited to have you here.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know a lot of people in this event, they're talking about daily method of operations and systems and strategies. And I love that you're kind of taking us to the next level of like having a vision, having a clear pathway, and having a legacy, something bigger, so that there's something bigger driving you, which I love so much, because without that, that's like your true north. Right. And if you don't have that, you're just kind of like wandering around.
Yeah.
So it's such an interesting and fascinating insight to bring to the audience. So can you tell us just a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey and how you found yourself living in this unique space of helping people with vision and purpose and all of these amazing things?
Yes, absolutely. First of all, thank you. Thank you for letting me be in this incredible summit. And thank you for having me here and that beautiful intro. Yeah. So I've been in the entrepreneurial space since 2013 when I got my first property and started tinkering with real estate investing. And, years later, got into this online space. Our dear friend Leah Ray Getz introduced me to this crazy world of online marketing, where it was the first time I experienced this, like what is possible through my screen, like, whoa, life-changing, radically life-changing. And so, getting into the world of entrepreneurship that way, like going from local to global, was really radical for me and very exciting. But then I lost a daughter. I'm a proud mom of 5 little boys. After having my third son, I was pregnant with my first daughter, and she didn't make it. She lasted 23 weeks in my womb. And long story short, I had to deliver her, and it was very traumatic. The whole situation, without getting into it, was a very traumatic experience for me. And I just checked out. I checked out of everything and went into not the dark night of my soul, but like the dark year of my soul, where, things just spiraled really bad. I was checked out as a mom, checked out as a wife, and really got to a place where I wanted to either just leave my family completely because being around them I just couldn't bear being around them. Or I just wanted to check out of life. So I was looking for ways to kill myself. How could I kill myself and not hurt my kids? So like I was in a weird, dark place. Mm-hmm. And I go to YouTube one day. Like I don't know what drove me to YouTube, but one day I go to YouTube and there's this woman who I come across her video, and I recognized her from The Law of Attraction, the documentary, The Law of Attraction. So I decided to check on this video, and her message that day woke me up. It woke me up. And it was just, she essentially was saying that I have all the answers, that I don't have to accept living a life of mediocrity. I don't have to live a life of victimhood. And it was just the perfect message at the perfect time, the stars aligned kind of situation. And that video radically changed everything for me. So in one video, one woman, one message completely transformed my life. It wasn't like overnight I was happy and rainbows and sunshine and unicorns were floating around me all the time. But this video took me on a trajectory of, okay, how do I start healing me? And then how do I heal my relationship with my children? How do I heal my relationship with my husband? And so it was still a long journey. It's been 5 years now since Libby passed away, and my daughter, Libby, and a lot of transformation has happened. But once I got to a place of healing with my family and myself, and I really started to have my feet on solid ground again, I realized I was reinvigorated by this idea of entrepreneurship and this one woman, she was bold enough to radically change my life by one video. Like the power of that one video just astounded me. And it really created an obsession of how do I help more people understand the impact of their message? Because I'm literally the manifestation of her message. Like I would have either offed myself or left my family. Like that's what I thought my options were. And so I just became obsessed with wanting to help other people share their messages, find clarity so that they could come and make an impact in the world. And of course, the more time that has passed, we all see that the world is in a hot mess. Like one with COVID has not been fun. And now we've got all the drama going on over the seas. We need more of us. We need more of us to rise up and share light in the world. And so that's my mission. That's my mission, is to just help the people that come into my life to get clarity on how they can make an impact and move forward so that they're causing ripples in the world. Because that woman caused a ripple in my life that now my family has been impacted. You've been impacted by her, and you may not have ever even watched her video, right? So to me, that's powerful. It's magical. And that's the world that I choose to create.
That's amazing. And I mean, every single person watching this video right now could have a profound impact in the exact same way if they just got clear on their message.
Yes.
And delivered it at the right time. You never know who it's going to touch. So I have to ask, this is kind of a little offshoot, but now I'm like dying to know. Did you ever reach out to that woman and let her know the impact she had on you?
So I have emailed. I have emailed and did not get she's a big name, Lisa Nichols, by the way, look her up. She's amazing. Her personal assistants, reached back out to me, and it was kind of very like business-esque. So actually one of my quarterly missions coming up is to make intentional connection with her via writing letters like sending her a letter to make a true heartfelt connection. So that is actually on my to-do list.
Well, that's amazing, because I'm sure, I mean, especially once you become a big name and you have a support team helping you with things, I'm sure there's lots of emails that get missed. You don't see everything, but I'm sure it would touch her heart to know that she had such a profound impact on you. And I'm excited to think about all of the impacts that everyone in this audience could have if they got super clear on their message and their vision. And so I know from experience, it's really hard to get clear on your message, who you are and what you stand for, if you don't have a clear vision of what it is you're trying to build with your business, right? Because the minute you're in alignment with that, like, I don't know how else to explain it to people other than like, when those pieces finally come together, it's almost like everything clicks and is centered and aligned, and you feel it almost when you get that level of clarity. And so for those of you watching, I speak about this from experience because I was close to that alignment, but I was like wavering around. I couldn't quite get crystal clear on what I was doing. And it was Nicolette who helped me click in to place. So you really need this clarity. I went from struggling to building a 6-figure business instantaneously because of that alignment. Yeah. And that's why we have to have her here and we have to have this conversation. So tell us a little bit about the importance of not just having goals in your business, but having a vision. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So vision is really the understanding that you play a part in a much bigger story and that you get to create. So in the Q journal, the whole concept with the Q journal is that you get to author your legacy. And to me, I like using the word magical. Like, think about putting yourself in a magical state where you're like, not like your witchcraft and making things happen, but like your pen to the paper becomes your wand. You know, you're literally saying, okay, today I'm going to do this. I'm committing to myself. I create, but it's for a bigger purpose. So vision is looking and seeing, what do I want to create my life to be? What do I want my hands to be in? How do I want to play the game called life? Mm-hmm. And so vision can be all about your service, all about your impact, all about your possibility. Mm-hmm. When we become myopic and we're just focused on today or maybe the next quarter, it's very short-sighted. And it causes us to be self-deflated. Like, we can give up, we can get burnt out, we can stop, we can fall into the trap of self-sabotage, self-guilt, self-beat up, all the selves, right? All the negative self things. Whenever you have vision and you can see what I'm doing today, where it's taking me, it's a game changer. Mm-hmm. It's just honestly a game changer. And you have the capability of literally, whenever you get clear on that direction that you're taking, you have the capability of becoming the author of it. Mm-hmm. It's really amazing to put yourself into that mindset. Like, no one can do it for you. Mm-hmm. You have to allow yourself to go to the place of, what do I want my stamp on this planet to be?
Yeah. I love that analogy of like, you're authoring a story about your legacy, because if you think about it in terms of like a story or a book, like an epic book of mm-hmm. life, mm-hmm. the premise of the book is like the vision. Yeah. And then you break it down into chapters, right? Mm-hmm. And then you break it down into the different subsets of the chapters and the paragraphs and all that. Yeah. But any person can point at a book and say, oh, the premise of this book is XYZ. Yeah. Right. But can you do that for your life? Yeah. Can you do that for your business and the role that business plays in your life? So basically, you're like authoring your own book about your legacy, if you like to think about it that way.
100%. And that's what the Q journal is. And, you know, it becomes your library of your legacy, which mm-hmm. is just pretty cool. If you know, I'm a little biased, but it's really cool to think of it that way. Mm-hmm. And yes, absolutely. And the business, where does the business fit in? Mm-hmm. You know, because we get so myopic, and I know this because I've bought so many courses, I've done so many things, I've done all the programs, and we focus business, and we forget we're full people. Yes. We've got family, we've got friends, we've got travel we want to do. We have things that we want to do with our lives. The business is the vehicle to make the lifestyle possible. The business is the vehicle to make the vision possible. The business is the vehicle that makes the dream the reality.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are things that your business facilitates in creating the vision. And so just having that clarity around like your vision is not just what do I want my business to look like in 20 years? No, it's what do you want your life to look like? Where do you want to be traveling? Where do you want to wake up? What do you want your like what kind of charities do you want to be contributing to? How do you want to show up on the world stage? And that involves all the pieces. The business gets to be an element that just brings you there.
Right. Like it's a major theme in your story, but it's not the only thing going on in your story. And so I think this is so valuable because I know a lot of people when they're building their businesses, especially when they're like struggling to get everyone has some sort of income threshold they're really trying to hit because it opens up some level of lifestyle for them or some level of freedom for them. Right. And so many people are like, okay, I'm 100% focused on business right now and family goes to the side or my health goes to the side or these other things go to the side until I hit that threshold and then I'll look at everything. But you're suggesting that perhaps that's not the best way to do it, that you really need to consider all those factors. Considering all of them is what will actually help you to hit that threshold.
Yeah. And so what comes to me as I'm hearing you say that is alignment, not balance. Like I hear this all the time. I don't feel balanced between work and business or work and life. I'm neglecting my family for business. I'm neglecting my business for family. And you don't have to neglect anything.
Yeah.
And you can look and see, am I in alignment at this season of my life with my family, with my business, with what I'm doing? And there's so many variables and so many ways of approaching your current circumstance. But, it's an alignment process and ensuring that you're in alignment to hit that vision with all the areas. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Because and I can speak from experience once you're considering all those factors equally. And sometimes some get more play than others, but they're all on your radar. It's not like you're like throwing 3 in the trash so you can focus on 2. They're all on the radar. It's amazing what that can unlock in your life. So, I think the audience now is understanding the importance of having a vision, and some might even feel like they are crystal clear on theirs. But what I see happen a lot, and I'm sure you see this too, even if you're clear on your vision, that doesn't mean you know how to break it down into the individual goals and the action steps that'll get you there. So can you talk to us a little bit about that process and the importance of, and the method really of like, how do you start to break this, like peel the layers apart? Because there's a lot there.
Yeah. So I call this is like a dance. It's like art. And it's also not about being perfect. Okay. So I want to premise that you have permission to do this imperfectly. And it's going to be imperfect because at the end of the day, we can have vision, but we're also not psychics and we can't like control what every day is going to look like. Okay. So I just want to disclaimer.
Yeah.
Now for taking your vision and saying, okay, well, what do I do today that makes that happen? It really is a process of reverse engineering. And so it is an art. And I mean, I just took the Q Salon, my community through a 3-hour long workshop yesterday. And really, I realized it gets to be 5, 6, maybe a few days because it's so intense. But it takes a long time this is a thinking process. It requires thoughtfulness. It requires getting in touch with yourself. It requires getting in touch with reality and possibility, right? So there's a realm of what one of my mentors says, realistic, but stretchy, and just looking and seeing like what you get to stretch into. So if you have a big vision, and I like to invite you to think about your vision in the next 3 years. And I say 3 years because whenever you're thinking about what you're creating, if we go beyond 3 years, it can become like too much in the realm of, I have no idea what is the world going to look like in 5 years, in 10 years, like with AI, with innovation, all the things, the market changes, like we just really don't know. 3 years is a bit more of a safe space to think about what reality will look like. So that's one thing. We can look at 1 year in advance and we'll get there. But whenever you're planning a big vision, 1 year in the future is like too soon. It's way too close. Right. And your brain can go into shutdown. It can go into limitation. It can go into lack, which is not a fun place to play. 3 years in the future is really a beautiful space where you can allow yourself to flex into possibility and also start working with something concrete. So we want to have vision. We want to have something big that we're thinking like, I'm going to create this amazing life. But we also have to understand that it's like meditation. Like meditation, you can't just sit and meditate your life away. You have to actually take actions throughout the day to calm yourself in the middle of chaos or conflict, right? The same thing with vision is you can have this big vision, but you get to create a system that makes it tangible. So going from dream to reality. So you have this thing 3 years from now, and you're like, okay, this is what I think life in 3 years would be amazing at this point. And then you really just start bringing it back. Okay, well, if this is where I'm going to be in 3 years, this like calculation, right? Just take it back a year or take it back a year, take it back 2 years and say in 1 year, I know that these steps will take me to 3 years in advance in the future. Does that make sense? Have I lost you?
Yeah. Like you're taking like, okay, here's my 3-year vision. If I break that into parts, what's like year one, year two, and then year three, like you start to break it down into smaller and smaller segments.
Yeah. And then from there, it's just like doing some backtracking. Literally, you can go from 3 years down to 1 year, down to quarterly, down to monthly, down to weekly, down to daily. And you can literally go all the way back to saying, okay, today, I know if I write these 2 emails for this particular campaign, this campaign is going to be going off at this particular time. This campaign launching into this particular thing will lead to this particular revenue, which will lead to me being able to go to the trip to Paris that I want to take, whatever, right? Like, so you can reverse engineer all the way down to today in order to see those steps that matter that will take you to the 3-year vision. And of course, in my vision workshop, we play on a big stage. You know, we do think 25 years in the future, and we think about like lifetime legacy and lifetime creation. So it's really hard to articulate and break down in the time that we have together, but there is absolutely a way to create an idea of what I want life to look like in 3 years from now and how to break it down back to, okay, what do I get to do today to make that happen?
Which makes sense. Because like the full lifetime legacy is like this fuzzy kind of thing that you see in the future, but it's really fluffy.
Yeah.
Right. But suddenly with that 3-year time frame, it feels a little bit more tangible. It feels a little bit more solid. It's a little bit more clear. It's like you put the glasses on and you can see it a little bit better. Right. Yeah. And then, like you said, it's just reverse engineering all those steps. And what I love about this is I experienced this in corporate and I've experienced it in the business world. I think it's very true almost no matter what you're working on. There's certain things in life where it makes sense to go slow so that you can go fast.
Yes.
Like if you just slow down enough to go through an exercise like this and to reverse engineer it in the moment, sometimes, especially if you're really ambitious, like I think a lot of our audience is really ambitious, right? Nicolette and I are both ambitious women.
Yeah.
It can be hard to slow down to get something like that, to put the right thought into it. But it's those moments, every time I've encountered something like that, whether you're building out your vision, right? Or whether you're building out a funnel, like there's certain things that you got to slow down to do it right. Mm-hmm. But then the minute it's done, man, it propels you so fast.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that. Go slow to go fast. It makes me think about Atomic Habits. If you're familiar, if you haven't watched or read Atomic Habits, I invite you to do so. One of the concepts he talks about is just those 1% gains and how it's not 1% gain a day equals 365% gain over a year. No, it's like compound interest. Yeah. And so the 1% just slowing down, it feels insignificant in the moment. But as you continue to take your 1% gains, it just builds and builds and builds, exactly what you're saying. Mm-hmm. And absolutely, the reason why we look at the 25 year in the workshops that I host, we do look at 25 years only because, one, it does help you to see like what kind of life do I want to create, which is big picture, right? It's that
like the overall theme of the story.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not really possible to create concrete stuff at that level. Mm-hmm. But what's beautiful about looking at 25 years is that one quarter, right? Which helps with planning and execution of what it is that you're creating. One quarter of 25 years is 1%. And when you can think about, wow, like I've got this big thing, I'm creating a big life. I've got a big vision. I'm doing big things with my life. Yeah. 1%, one quarter, it gives you some breathing room to like, okay, I can take it slow.
I can make mistakes.
It doesn't have
only 1% of the story. It's fine if I'm not perfect.
Fine. And it's actually beautiful because it gets to be a part of that story where there's lessons, right? There's no good story if there's not drama, if there's not some type of obstacles that the hero or heroine has to overcome, right? So yeah, the 1%, like it just gives you some breathing room to take that time to slow down so that you can speed up. Absolutely.
Yeah. And so I love this because anyone else in the audience who's super ambitious might be realizing now that they need to slow down just for a very short period of time so they can go even faster. Yes. But also for the perfectionists in the audience, you don't have to be perfect, right? It's okay to do it messy, right? But you do need a certain amount of structure around what you're building, or you're basically just a hot mess kind of floundering around.
Yeah. And so the beauty of the vision, the beauty of the reverse engineering, the beauty of giving yourself grace and giving yourself that breathing room, 1% at a time, one quarter at a time, is yes, you have I call it your compass. Like you talked about the true north. It's a guiding light. You've got a compass that you know that the direction you're heading. Mm-hmm. It helps with shiny object syndrome. So, like I see stuff to make money online all the time. And I'm not going to lie, I still like, what do they have going on over there? But I know now I have my compass, and I know if I look at something and it looks awesome, but it's not in alignment with what it is that I'm creating and working to, I know that I'm shooting myself in the foot if I spend any energy on it. And so that helps me to stay focused, stay on track, and keep going in the direction that I choose, that I'm creating. Mm-hmm. And it's so that's a very powerful gift, because there are how many people start something and then stop, and then they start something new and then they stop, and they start something new and then they stop. And it's like you cannot go anywhere. You can't create anything with that kind of behavior.
Yeah, it's like the shiny object syndrome. Well, and I think that really that like the warning for entrepreneurs out there, entrepreneurs, we're a special breed.
Yeah.
If you're here and you're watching this, know that you're unique. Most people don't think the way that you think, the way that we think. We have a very unique way of thinking, which is what's going to allow us to succeed. But it's always a two-sided coin, right? The other side of that coin is it's so easy for entrepreneurs to get sucked into shiny object syndrome.
Yeah.
And latching on to the next thing and starting but not finishing. So I love that we've kind of broken down, like, here's your sign that you probably need to do some vision and goal setting work. If you have that shiny object syndrome, it's probably a symptom of needing to go through a process like what Nicolette is describing, because it can help you to keep that true north and prevent you from grabbing up every little shiny object you see, mm-hmm. right? So what are some other symptoms that people might be seeing in their life or experiencing in their life to let them know, like, oh, that's happening to me. That means I need a vision setting, goal setting type of session, a legacy session. What other things might be indicators for the audience?
Well, for sure, the idea of waking up and not knowing what you're going to do in a given day, that's like alert, alert, alert.
Check.
Get a plan in action, right? And that's a very big key right there. That you just don't have like a path. You also don't have something motivating you enough to create that. So that's something to get in touch with as well, as like,
right. Like you don't have that jump out of bed excited feeling. If you have a true vision and you know exactly where you're going, it's a lot easier to get that jump out of bed excited feeling. Yeah.
And to speak to that just for one more second, knowing also the impact of the vision is an accelerator, right? It's like oil on the fire. Knowing that, okay, I have this vision of what I can do. Like I like to talk about the things that we hate, the things that break our hearts that are going on in the world. Mm-hmm. Your business, the growth that you experience, the way that you get to show up in life and the way you get to play with life gets to contribute directly to these causes that you absolutely hate to see happening. To me, that's a huge motivator. It's very powerful. And we don't talk about that enough. And so that's another thing. Like if you're in bed in the morning and you're just like, I don't want to get up. I don't know what to do. I'm like, you can think about the babies that you get to save, or the refugees that you can feed, or whatever, whatever is on your heart to support. So that's just something really important to get clear about and get intimate with. Another indicator that you could use this kind of support is simply by just, so we talked about being stuck. You talked about this idea of like going, ambitious people always wanting to move. There's that idea of like, I'm on the hamster wheel. I'm moving 1,000 miles per hour, but I'm not going anywhere. Yes. That's also a big indicator that you're just not working on something that's creating movement, and that perfectionism is a problem for sure. Yeah. So if you're struggling with perfectionism, that's something you get to release, and you get to know why releasing it is important. And whenever you can see that vision, you can see where those steps, like the imperfect action, is taking you, that also will give you relief and grace and movement.
Yeah, absolutely. So valuable. So I'm sure that the audience now at this point is probably, a lot of them are realizing this might be the one thing I'm missing, because what I can tell you, every single speaker is bringing the fire to this event, right? And there's tons of smart systems and, step-by-step processes you can follow and all these things. But if you're lacking your vision and your goals are not clear and you kind of don't have that foundation under you, there isn't a single strategy or system that's going to work for you, because this is like the foundation, right? So if you're watching this and you're realizing like, oh, I think this is what I need. I know Nicolette has a special gift that could help you to start moving down that path and get clarity there. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I created, and this, y'all, I poured my heart into this. This is a bonus add to my Q journal. Okay. So the Q journal is phenomenal. But this is what I'm calling the Vision to Reality Planner. Okay. So this is a PDF document that will help you take your 3-year and backpedal it all the way down to today. Okay. Now, I'm not leaving you with just a PDF document. I literally have videos to cover every single step of the way, so you're supported. You have an understanding of how to use this document and how to best serve yourself. And if you like to live in the world of magic and possibilities like I do, you're going to love it, and you're going to have goosebumps the whole time, because it's just a powerful exercise to walk yourself through. So yeah, definitely grab it and do yourself and your future self and the world a favor by going through and taking the steps to fill that out.
That's phenomenal. Everything you need to go from 3 years to 1 year to the 4 quarters to the 12 months to all the weeks and all the days.
Yes.
It's all in there.
Yes. And I made it so that you can print out, like you can do the weekly, every single week you can have one, so it's an endless for the rest of your life document if you want to use it that way.
That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. Now, I know for those who have VIP tickets, you have an extra special gift. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, I'd love to meet with you. I would love to meet with you. If you're feeling like you're going through this and you're like, oh. doing the ugly cry, and you have realized that you haven't really focused on a big picture vision and you'd like to explore that, I'm happy to meet with you. So I'm offering a free clarity call around your vision and your legacy and what you're moving towards, so that we can walk away, or you can walk away knowing what you're working on is leading you somewhere really special and impactful for you. And it's just a gift I want to give you. So
that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I can tell you guys firsthand just how valuable that session is. Because like I said, I thought that I was clear on my messaging, on who I was, what I stood for. I thought that I was clear on my marketing, but I still felt stuck. Like something felt off, and I couldn't even tell you like what's off. I don't know, something, right? I couldn't put my finger on it. It was a 20-minute conversation with Nicolette was all it took for me to click into alignment, got crystal clarity, and my business exploded. So I can tell you firsthand, these 20-minute sessions are like gold. So I'm so excited that you're offering that up to the audience. But guys, keep in mind, this is only for the VIP ticket holders. If you're not a VIP ticket holder, don't worry, it's not too late. There's a button somewhere nearby where you can become one if you're not one yet. And so, of course, you get all kinds of extra bonuses from the speakers. You get lifetime access to all the training. You get all the things. So definitely, if you want to scoop up that free clarity session with Nicolette, do that. I know normally these sessions they're expensive. So to get one for free is a big deal. Okay. So definitely scoop that up. And Nicolette, thank you so much for being here with us. I'm so excited about your topic.
Thank you. Me too.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Impactful Entrepreneur Show. If you found amazing value here, like, subscribe, and leave us a review to help other people find the high value content that we share, and find us on social media so we can continue the conversation. See you in the next episode.